Hello and welcome to today's video. Today there is another guide coming to you from the closed beta for Season 12 in Project Diablo 2. Today we're going to talk about the Teeth Necro, which is an amazing starting farmer. So he's great to start farming with after you get your Torch and Annie usually. You can start with him before you get it if you want to, if you prefer to. Personally, I like to farm Torch and Annie with my Golem's Necro and then swap off to Teeth. I think that's a better path, but if you don't like farming your own, and you'd rather buy them, that you can swap to him a little bit earlier. He's a very cheap kind of setup to get started with. Has a lot of cheap things you can buy that could make him very strong early on. So yeah, we're going to talk about a very budget setup for him, and then we're going to transition into the mapper setup and just kind of show things that you can upgrade and how you can make him even better. He does have very endgame kind of setups, but they're hard to replicate on the beta because we're lacking slams and we're lacking a lot of crafted and rare items that you can find during the season on Trade Ladder. So because of that, we're not going to show the super endgame, but we will show the super budget and also the transition into early mapping and how that looks like. So with that said, I'll show. Let's get started. Yeah. To level your Teeth Necro, you'll ignore the Curse skill tree, and over here in the Summoning skill tree, personally, I only get points in Blood Warp early on. Again, this is like level 90, but I'm also missing some skill quests, so this is like level 87 or so. Some points in Blood Warp, they help you just kind of teleport around. You max Teeth and all of its free synergies, so Bone Armor, Bone Spear, and Bone Spirit. Bone Armor will keep you safe relatively, so that's 80 points, and then you just kind of dump everything in Blood Warp till you get the soft level 30. At level 30, you'll have 0 cooldown on Blood Warp, giving you great mobility, so it's just a really nice, quality of life. You can, in general, if you want more safety, that is, have Golem Mastery and use some Blood Golems. That does work pretty nicely. They heal you, so they are pretty nice. But it's not really a must. It's not super necessary. Once you have a lot of plus skills, it is pretty cool to have some golems just hanging around, giving you extra healing and extra bodies that will just kind of protect you. So that is my preference, but early on in farming, you just kind of ignore them because they just insta-die, and you need your skill points for your damage. Alright, so that's the skills. On the attributes, you put some points in your strength to wear your gear, nothing in dexterity, nothing in vitality, everything goes on the way to energy. You have a very strong bone armor with it completely maxed, so the energy is just like an easy choice here to get a very strong absorb on your bone shield. So that's just the general direction. For the gear, I used very simple gear, so we crafted on the stream, while we were testing this, we crafted, I think, 10 or 15 wands, something like that, something that you could do on the first day or so, of course, depending on how much you play. We crafted a bunch of these wands, and just like the one that hit Teeth, was like this. It had +4 to Teeth. You can get +5 if you find a +3 base and you make a white rune ward in it. So again, +5 is kind of guaranteed, so you don't have to use crafts. But this craft happened to have life and mana after each kill, which was a nice addition. So I ended up using this over the rune ward, just to showcase that you can kind of go even cheaper than rune wards just by spending a couple gems for crafting. Of course, the crafting can go all the way up to +6, which would be amazing early on. So again, a lot of potential in early crafts for wands or for general casters. For the armor, we used Viper Magi, plus skills, all res, faster cast rate. Generally speaking, for the faster cast rate, you want to get to 125 if you can early on. So a 30 FCR armor is something you do want to spend some time on, whether it's Ghost Shroud or Skin of Viper Magi. Both of them are really good early on. In addition, you have K Hagen, which, while it only gives 20 FCR, does give you some FHR and plus skills and mana after each kill. So a lot of good options here for the armor. For the circlet, I just bought a few circlets and found a +3 poison and bone. So again, just like a plain circlet with poison and bone, If it gives +2 or +3, that's pretty nice. If you happen to find things like a Shaco or a Circlet that gives also FCR to Necro, make sure you use them because that'll be really good for you. That's what we found. I just put a Ral Rune in it to fix our resistances at the time. We don't need that Ral Rune anymore, but back then it was really useful. For the amulet, we're using just a free poison and bone necro. You can find these or gamble them early on pretty easily. Otherwise, they cost 1 or 2 Wallstone shards if you are on trade ladder. For the necro heads, I actually just dropped this while I was farming. So free poison and bone, free to teeth. This is pretty high, so you won't necessarily get +6, but you can easily get +5 and +6 wands, or at least +5 wands. So this could be like a +5 teeth, and that's a lot more common. So that's what we did. We just put a diamond in it for the resistances, so nothing fancy there. For the boots, we're using Rite of Passage for Cannot Be Frozen. The belt is just a rare belt with 10 FCR and some life on it, also some res. The ring is FCR, the other ring is also FCR, and the gloves are the Trang Owl's Claws. We do not use any curses, it's just for the 20 FCR, so Mage Fist works just as well. It's all with the goal of reaching 125. That's your main goal in the early game. Being able to reach 125 will improve your clear speed by quite a bit. So even if you have to sacrifice 1 or 2 skill points on the amulet, if you do find one with 10 FCR and it brings you to the breakpoint, definitely go for it. And you can see that all of this FCR actually doesn't get us to 125. I don't know if you made the calculation in your head. 10, 20, 30, 50, 80, and 95. So where do we get the next 30? That's right, you guessed it correctly. We're getting it from these large charms. The new large charms that give FCR are actually quite amazing early on for the Teeth Necro, because it's a big struggle for him to reach these breakpoints without them. So this is a pretty big buff to early farming on the Teeth Necro, and we really do love to see it. Other than that, again, I normally farm my Torch and Annie early on before I swap to Teeth. If you don't have those, then you'll be slightly weaker, but it's really not a big deal. You can farm without them. I showed that also on the stream. Just by now my resistances and everything is kind of using them. So we will run with them for the sake of this video. And let's do a quick demo of Chaos Sanctuary. On the swap, I have a teleport stick. Generally, it doesn't need to be a nice puzzler. Just having a tele stick is kind of important. So these are kind of like the charms that I'm running right now. You can, early on, you'll just use some res normally. So just some res charms and some FCR. Torch and Annie, if you do get them, make sure to use them. For the merc, I'm using a light Act 4 merc. So light Act 4, you get him over here, the light one. He gives you Sanctuary Aura, which reduces enemy magical resistance. You do magical damage, so he's a natural fit for you. I'm using Insight Rune Word to keep our mana topped off, even though there were buffs, significant buffs to the mana consumption of Teeth, so it takes a lot less mana to use now. So Insight is not even a necessity now, but it's very nice to have early on, and it's very cheap. And he has some other general gear like Mage Fist, String of Ears, and Skin of Viper Magi, Rite of Passage for CBF. So just simple stuff for him, nothing too crazy. Alright, let's hop into, oh sorry, I'll rejoin the game just to show the timer and how much time it takes to clear CS on a budget like this. Again, we'll be using our teleport stick to move around. And you can do the full clear. Normally it's better to do a full clear if you can. I don't know why I'm... Looks like I was having like some sort of lag there for a moment. So again, this build can full clear pretty well because he does have like very good AoE. So again, if your full clear is very slow, of course you can skip it and just go for the Diablo kill. But if it's very fast like this one, I would say go for it. As you can see. Here, I use the teleport stick to move around even after we get here. There we go. You'll get pretty good EXP here as well while you're farming here. So farming CS, very recommended. I think that one Venom Lord didn't die there. That's my bad. Make sure to pick up these mummified trophies. They could be a +5 or more teeth head. So just worth checking. Soul Eater. No longer. And when we timed these on the stream, I did like a couple of those in a row. I managed to do like 2-minute ones without all the explaining what I'm doing. So about 2 minutes to clear full CS, including Diablo, of course. Right now I'm doing it a little bit slower because I'm explaining and talking. And normally I just did it with purple poison, sorry, not purple poison, with red potions. So again, there's like no need to carry like all these rejuves, of course. The Merc, if you don't aggro Diablo, will definitely die. We got Burning Essence, which is nice early on. Grand Matron Bow for people who want to run Venus early on. So a few little drops here. So this is the super budget setup. We're gonna swap real quick. I'll do editing magic and swap to the non-budget setup just to show what this build as an idea kind of goes for later on once it transitions to maps. Still, it's not gonna be insane budget or like insane expensive, just casual big items to make it a little bit stronger. Okay, I'm back and let's have a look at the gear changes we made. So we kept the armor the same, and I used the same Necro because +5 or +6 teeth is pretty much what you want on your offhand. Plus skills is the make or break for this build. I'm also still using the free poison and bone amulet. So what did we buy to upgrade ourselves? The first thing you want to buy is a Bone Shade. Bone Shade gives you +7 to teeth, and that's just amazing for like one item to just give you +7. It's a crazy item. If you can find one with socket early on to give you yourself some life after each kill with jewels, or if you find one with plus skills accidentally or FCR, these are amazing slams for you early on, and they would just boost your mapping incredibly. But even just having one like this that just rolled 5 to teeth is good enough to get started. It gives 25 CR, which does help you on your way to your breakpoint. An additional purchase that will help you on the way there is the Trang Owls Guys. Running like a circlet or something more expensive is also an option. Running things to give a lot of plus skills is of course preferred, but this one piece can give you 30 FCR total, which is very, very strong in my opinion, and worth considering. I just put runes inside it because I needed more res. Normally you can get more res if you have like 2 sockets in your shield and you put 2 runes there. That's pretty normal, but I couldn't find one, so I just went with this. The armor stayed the same, the ammo stayed the same, this stayed the same, but we did buy an Arax. Arax, of course, again, helping you get to that last breakpoint, which you want so much without all the large charms. 2 skill rings. Skill rings are great early purchases if you can get them for about a high rune each early on. They are more skill points, so of course, they are big improvements. The gloves stay the same. You need them for the set bonus for 30 FCR when you have 2 parts, armor and gloves. Not armor, sorry, helmet and gloves. And for the boots, we're using Marowaks for cannot be frozen. You can still use the Rite of Passage. This is not an important, like, immediate buy. It's just something that you can upgrade. For the charms, this is something you want to buy as early as possible since they are extremely cheap. You want to buy large charms with magic skill damage. Get the 3% ones, don't get 2% ones. You'll probably find some of those too. Again, I'm not using anything fancy. Some of them will have life, but most of them are just random ones that we found along the way. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You really don't need fancy ones to get started. Just the extra damage that they bring is massive. You'll see that each one of those is a pretty big deal in terms of damage. There's like 120 minimum damage and 150, I think, or 130 maximum damage. So removing a couple of those is really, really big. And removing like 1 skill ring, if you think about it comparatively, like 1 skill ring, as you can see, reduces our damage by like 260. but 2 of these will be 260 as well. And 2 of these cost like about 3 to 4 Worldstone shards early on if they're plain, maybe 5 to 10 if they have like something nice with them, like faster one walk or some life. So just keep that in mind, just to compare like the value that you're spending. Buy these first, get your torch, your Annie, your large arms, make sure you have enough FCR, and at the end you can buy skill rings if you have the currency. That's kind of how you go about it. The merc is just about the same, nothing else really changed, but we did grab ourselves a CTA because CTAs are great. They give you some life, some mana, which is really nice, and the plus skills of course. So yeah, really worth it. Do invest in a CTA, even if it has a bad roll. Just the plus skills by itself is already a good start. We match it with a list to buff our CTA as well. And yeah, I think it's time to hop into a map just to show early mapping on this build, to show what it can do. Again, this is a budget version with a few small purchases like the skill rings, the bone shade, and large arms. 78, I think this is fine, running like a 78 density map. It's not too much. I'll juice it up a little bit just so we have a lot more things to hit at. And again, this build does feel a little bit nicer when you start having bodies that can protect you. If you have skill points to spend on Golem Mastery, then it's really nice. Once you have a lot more plus skills, then Blood Warp naturally becomes a high level without you investing points in it, and you can put more points into Golem Mastery to summon more golems. But till then, you just do with what you have. Well, we had a small crash while recording. There seems to be like some sort of bug with the cube right now that causes a lot of crashes to happen. So I'm just gonna try and get through the map, and if it doesn't fully work, I'll just record the ending separately. So again, you hop into the map and make sure to cast your bone armor every now and then. Make sure it's always up. It is your main form of defenses. Generally, you want to have bodies if you can, like a golem. Again, if you can afford it, having it is very nice, because he does give you a little bit of healing to make up for the health use on your teleport. And while the merc can be a little fragile, as long as you do enough damage, he usually doesn't die. And as long as you don't play too aggressive, he's really not fit for super aggressive play. As you can see, I'm throwing like 1, 2, sometimes 3 teeth waves, and try to teleport into the teeth waves, like to the area you think you will be safe in. Don't put him in too much trouble. He's not really built for that. He's built just to slightly assist you and not tank for you, like our faithful Act 2 mercs. If you do not like this merc, by the way, you can run an Act 2 defensive merc. He's not bad, he's just slightly less damage because he doesn't give you that Sanctuary aura, which you really do like. It is really nice to have that aura. And try to keep your merc healed. Like, for the most part, when I play this build, I normally use rejuves or potions more on my merc than on myself. Some people, I think, hear this and get pretty depressed by it, but it's not that terrible, really. It's okay. He has good intentions, I swear, and he really tries to help. Just really fragile. You can give him like some tankiness, of course. That will be nice for him. He doesn't do a lot of damage or heal for you anyway, so focusing on his tankiness is more important than focusing on his damage, in my opinion, at least early on. Wow, we get a ring. Well, I'll go ahead and loot it. People sometimes say that all of my times are not realistic because I'm not looting. So here, I looted. And for the boss, you can of course kill the boss pretty fast with Bone Spear. I like to have Bone Spear bound to something, so I can always use it if I want to. As you can see, clear pretty fast. Again, we're still in a very budgety kind of setup, so this kind of timing and this kind of map clear is very nice. And I will ID this ring at the end of the map, but if it is a skill ring and I'm wasting my RNG on recording guides in the beta, make sure you like and subscribe this video to at least make up for the RNG I lost. It's a nice little way to support the channel and my mental after IDing in a skill ring. It already happened to me twice during the beta that I ID'd the skill ring while looting. We also dropped 2 Zods, a Cham, a Ja, 2 Bears. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty devastated and my season start is going to be pretty hard. I don't think this RNG is going to keep up with us. Okay, overall, this build is still same old Teeth. I think somehow my keybind got changed there. Okay, that was a little weird. Maybe I teleported too fast or something. I'm trying to show kind of like how it looks like when you pick up the pace on this build, because I was going pretty slow before, and you can go pretty fast with this, even in the budget setup. Generally, when we tested times, it was anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes to clear a tier 1 map on a budget setup. And you can even walk into tier 2s already with this. Maps like Bastion are really nice for this build. Wow, we got a puzzle box. Crazy. Imagine you're farming on this budget-ish build, find a puzzle box early on. How happy are you? Okay, we're pretty much at the end of the map, as you can see. Teleport with 1 or 2 Thief's Throne. And you should pretty much be good to go. And yeah, that was the map. We cleared it in 6:30, but I could have gone a lot faster, of course, if we just went at the pace we did at the end. Alright, quick ID. If this is a skill ring, remember our little agreement, okay? Nah, it's just an angel ring. You guys are safe. You're safe for today. But with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope I'll see you on the next stream or video, wherever I see you. Have a good whatever you're having. Until the next time. Bye bye bye.